Ahoy, peace and blessings, welcome back. Today we're talking about Kundalini awakening. Alright, this video been blessed by God, by Hades. Alright, you understand why, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to tell y'all everything. I want you guys to experience more, everyone has their own path. But if you truly want to understand Kundalini awakening, alright, this video is for you. Alright, I don't even know where to start, okay? It's really 3 parts to this, alright? If this is your first incarnation, okay, your first time being a soul, right? It's part 1. Part 2, if this is your second time, you get what I mean, your third time, your 1,000th time, your 1,000,000th time reincarnating, you get what I mean? You have a different Kundalini energy, right? And then I'll just go into my own personal experiences, right? So if this is your first reincarnation as a soul, your Kundalini energy is a sexual energy in your body. Imagine all of your sexual energy. Okay, that's what the Kundalini is, right? This goes beyond sex. You get what I mean? This is just a creative energy. You get what I mean? Tapped into your soul's creative energy. This is what the Kundalini really is. Our souls, our spirits are much more creative than us as humans. You get what I mean? We have to use tools and things like that, right? We have to take things from the outside world to create. But the Kundalini experience, right, is awakening something inside of you. You get what I mean? Creating something inside of you. So if this is your first time as a soul, your first time incarnating, right, on the earth, in a human vessel, working with the Kundalini energy is really working on your internal sexual energy, your soul's sexual and creative energy, right? Your spirit's sexual and creative energy, really tapping into what love is to you. If your soul created love, right? Our souls can create, right? Our souls create love. How does love look like to you? How do you love yourself, right? And how do you love your other half, right? How would you love your other half? A lot of us, we learn what love is. You get what I mean? Babies start crying as soon as they come out the womb, right? Usually until they see the mother or the father, right? They feel that love energy. You get what I mean? It's something we all desire, right? We all want to be wanted. Some people more than others, you get what I mean? But we all feel pleasure in being desired, right? We all desire other things, right? Whether that's money or fame, cars, people, women, men, etc., etc. We all desire things, right? But things also desire us. So how do we take that energy of things desiring us, right? And how do we take that energy of desiring other things, right? On a very soul and spirit level, on a very mental level, right? Also on a very physical level, right? The Kundalini energy travels through all spheres of life, all spheres of your being. So when you awaken Kundalini energy, right, you'll have more experience in love, desire, creativity, internal and external. Most of us are trying to create something. Most of us, have been in love before, want to love again, experience true love, things like that, right? People want to create their magnum opus, you get what I mean, the best creation of their life, right? Whether that's, you get what I mean, a painting, right, an album, an invention, you get what I mean, a medicine, whatever it is. We all want to create things, right? Bring new ideas into the world, right? When you bring new things into the world, you are really activating your Kundalini energy and your godly divine energy, right? So take over the world. You get what I mean? When people say, oh, he's trying to take over the world, they usually think of some dictator things, and you get what I mean? But when I say take over the world, what are you going to put into the world today? You get what I mean? Are you going to put out a video or something, Are you going to put out a song? Are you going to put out, you get what I mean? What are you putting out into the world, and what are you receiving from the world? That's the real Kundalini energy. The idea of the seed of life and the flower of life, all right, is male and female Kundalini energy. Males have seeds of life, right? Women have flowers of life. You get what I mean? That's straight from my angels, right? A lot of these messages are just straight from God. Like I said, bless this video. Hades, bless this video, right? Angels, right? Bless this video. So that sexual energy is like a desire and an urge we have in us, right? So it's what do you do with that energy, right? How comfortable are you with that energy? How uncomfortable are you with that energy? How honest and open are you with that energy, right? How much are you willing to share? Do you want to hide that energy? You get what I mean? Is it a positive energy to you? Is it a negative energy to you? Right? At the end of the day, that's still your energy, though. We can think of all the negativity in the world, right? Bullying, right? Hating, jealousy, right? That's still people's energy, though, right? Even though it's a negative energy, right? We still think about the good things, right? Volunteering, charity, love, right? Creativity. You get what I mean? That is still people's energy, right? Whether it's good or bad, right? So take responsibility, right, of your own energy, of your own Kundalini, right? Your own sexual, creative, divine energy. That is yours. No one else has the same Kundalini experience because it's personal, right? It's you. It's what does your soul desire and what does the world desire from your soul. That goes if you're a new incarnation, right? Or you get, I mean, an old reincarnation, right? But I don't want to go further into, if this is not your first incarnation. You have to understand, right? If you've reincarnated multiple times, right? Especially on the earth in a human vessel, right? But even other places, right? Your soul and your spirit reincarnates, right? You've had loving relationships with other people, right? 9 times out of 10, depending on how many incarnations you've had. You may have had multiple wives and multiple husbands, maybe both. You get what I mean? So this energy is still desired in the world, right? These souls, these other souls who may not be on the planet or maybe are on the planet, they could be anywhere in the entire universe and beyond. Your energy, right, which is your true self, your soul, right, your spirit is still desired. But going beyond that, right, your sexual energy is also still desired. Your Kundalini energy is also still desired, right? Your creative energy is still desired. Your feminine energy is still desired, right? Your masculine energy is still desired, right? So souls who have reincarnated a long time may try to come in contact with you because you've had relations with them before, right? Maybe you started a whole family with them, etc., etc. You get what I mean? Imagine all the highs and lows, however it goes, right? You've been through a lot with a lot of souls who you may not be in contact with now, right? And these souls still desire you, right? You may still desire these souls. You may just not know about it yet, right? This is the Kundalini awakening, really, right? Having knowledge more of your own soul, of your own energy, right? And what it's been through in its entirety. You get what I mean? Past lives and all that stuff still hides in your soul today. It hides in your body today, right? Because you are you, right? I am who I am. You are you. No matter what lifetime it is, you are still you. So some of your past reincarnations, partners and lovers, kids, even other family members may still want to be in contact with you, right? Point blank, period, right? But when it comes into Kundalini, it's more of a sexual energy, right? Your past wives may try to reach out to you on a soul level, on the astral planes and things like that, right? Your past husbands may try to reach out to you. You get, imagine you had 1,000 reincarnations, right? Say you got married and 500 of them or something, right? You have a, particular person who has been the closest to you, right? This is Kundalini energy. This is true twin flame energy, right? There was someone who you was closest to. A lot of us have been alive through eternities and things like that. You get what I'm saying? I'm literally the king of hell. I'm older than eternity, right? You get sent to hell for eternity, now I'm here, right? I'm older than eternity, right? But going beyond that, you get what I mean? A lot of us have been alive multiple reincarnations, millions of years, billions of years. You get what I mean? Some of us, right? We're gods, we're goddesses. You get what I mean? Some of us are angels, demons, etc., right? A lot of us are very, very old, very ancient souls. Right? So this is old soul knowledge, right? Your closest partner, your closest lover, right? This is how it played out into my life. But I am like assuming I'm like 99, I'm sure I'm like 99.99% right? Other lovers of yours may come into your life, right? This happened to me as well, right? I just forgot about it until I just said that, actually, right? Maybe your favorite parent ever, right? Now we have 2 parents, you get what I mean? Some of us, most of us, right? Maybe your favorite parent ever, right, may still reach out to you, right, like God does. We call God Father, right? This is like our favorite parent ever, right? Some of your favorite kids ever may try to reach out to you, right? You can have, family members, right, kids, parents, right, girlfriends, boyfriends, wives, husbands, right, soul partners, right, on the astral realm, right? And they may try to contact you through your energy, period, right? But it plays out a lot of time as Kundalini energy. Imagine someone right? This is how it plays out to me, right? Someone who knows you 100%, that's really what it is, right? It's like a true love energy. Someone who knows you 100%, right? Because they've been with you literally through multiple incarnations, right? On the physical plane, in the mundane plane here, right, on earth, right? We have to get to know people. You know, we gotta start slow. You get what I'm saying? We gotta go through, you know, warming up and etc., right? But this is on a soul level, right? People who know you. You get what I mean? You are who you are. They are who they are, right? I am who I am. People who 100% know you, right? So you can have, you know, Kundalini experiences just with your soul partners, right? Friends and wives and husbands and kids and parents. You know, it goes through the whole spectrum. So once you really awaken your Kundalini, it's not even that you'll be more aware of that, right? I'm giving you guys the awareness. You'll be more aware of that, but you'll also have more experience in that, right? That'll be your day-to-day life. There'll be something you can interact with as you please, you get what I mean? But that desire energy is very strong, you get what I mean? It's very hot. You may start feeling heat on you and things like that, right? They say the heat rising from the spine, etc., right? Because it's a desire energy, right? Like being in heat. So imagine, you know, all your past partners, right? Very beautiful, I'm sure, very smart, right? They probably had some problems, probably why y'all not together no more, right? All these beautiful people on the planet, right? Smart, wise, right? All these, right, great people on the planet, you get what I mean? You may be attracted to, right? May have said something, may not have. At the end of the day, you're attracted to them. Right now, imagine that on a very soul and spirit level, like the one. You get what I mean? Your one has a very similar Kundalini energy as you, right? This is like twin flame. I'm trying not to confuse them, but it's very, very connected, right? You open your Kundalini energy, you are more likely to meet your twin flame though, honestly, right? Because it's the exact same fire. It's the exact same desire, right? This is that real energy, right? It's the exact same creativity, right? Even if you guys are doing something different, it's the same kind of essence behind it. It's the same spirit behind it. You know, it's the same fire behind it, right? You guys see things the same way. You guys have experienced life the same way, have gone through a lot of the same things. But again, this is your own energy, right? But on the astral realm, you may find someone who has that same energy as you do, right? There's a lot of us who have the same energy, right? This is where soulmates comes from. You get, I mean, you and your soulmate would share a lot of the same energy, right? This is where twin flames comes from. You and your twin flame will share about 99% the same energy, right? This is like a step even beyond that. This is like 100% the same energy. But again, even, you know, you and your soulmates are still different. You know, you and your twin flame are still a little different. You get what I mean? But it plays out in like minor levels, right? It plays out, maybe that's how it looks, you know, that's how it sounds, right? But internally it's really the same. You know, maybe they're light skinned, you're dark skinned, maybe they're a woman, you're a man, maybe, you get what I mean? They're from here, you're from there. You know, it plays out in different ways. Maybe they do that for work, you got another job, you get what I'm saying? But the internal energy is the same. You know, that divine energy in you. That's really what you're awakening, that divine, lover, creative, right, passionate energy in you, right? But I just want to add something, you know, for my community, you know what I'm saying, the guys and the goddesses, right, message I got today. You know, I've went years, you know, meditating every day and stuff like that, right? And I fell off of it for like months. I've been meditating more and more every day. I do recommend, you know, if you forgot you're supposed to be meditating every day, start meditating every day again. You know, we was doing that for a reason, start doing that again. You get what I mean? But, you know, today, Hades came to me, right? This is a very good way to look at Kundalini energy, right? Hades says he invented Kundalini energy, right? And I understand Kundalini is a Hindu concept. I understand it's from like North India, the India region and stuff like that, right? Okay, a lot of these gods and goddesses, again, have multiple reincarnations, right? So you are who you are, right? So I may call him Hades, right? They may call him something else. You get what I'm saying? In the book of Enoch, Metatron said he has 60 or 70 names. You get what I'm saying? A lot of us have different names, right? Different lifetimes, different reincarnations, right? But it was the energy of Hades, right? Hades said he invented Kundalini energy, right? While he was reincarnated as an Indian. This is why I work with multiple gods from different, you know, cultures and things like that, right? I'm not discriminatory, right? I stand in solidarity with the gods and the goddesses, you get what I'm saying? But it all makes sense though, if you think about the story of Hades, right? He couldn't see his wife, right, for half the year, every year. Imagine your soulmate, your twin flame, right? The most perfect of perfect people in the world to you, you get what I mean? you can't see them for 6 months, right? It's like a spiritual technique, right, to contact your lovers, right? This is really what it is, a spiritual technique, right, to call upon your ancestors, maybe your old kids, your old parents, right? But a lot of times, you know, that's that desire in us, right? It plays out in the form of contacting our old lovers, you know, our old soulmate, twin flame. You know, it's usually the one-on-one. You get what I'm saying? That was very special though, you know. I didn't realize that. I realized I reincarnated as a person in that area before. I didn't know it was at the same time and stuff like that. You get what I mean? It makes sense. It makes sense. You know, this is why I like making these videos. It really be helping me too, right? Understanding more about life. Imagine, right? Your partner, your real soulmate, your real twin flame may not even be on the earth, right? This is a way to contact them, right? Hades was in the underworld, right? Persephone was on earth or in heaven. You get what I'm saying? So this energy can really, you know, travel dimensions. You get what I mean? Because this Kundalini energy by itself, it's a place inside of you, right? It's a place inside of you where desire and creativity, divine energy, right, on a soul level sits at, right? At the end of the day, that's that energy in you. It's a place in you where you can really be your true self, right? Not be judged. You know, these like mundane human relationships, right? We gotta watch everything we do. We gotta lie pretty much, you know, we gotta admit a whole bunch of stuff. You get what I'm saying? We gotta play it smart and, you know, common sense and stuff, right? But this is a culture, right? This is our culture now, right? This Kundalini awakening, right? This is your true self, you know, culture or not. You get what I mean? Background or not, right? You are who you are, right? This is the son and daughter of God. I'm reminding you guys. Super peace, super blessings. Thank y'all for making it to the end. Hope you'll have a super day, super week, super month, super year. Working with our super angels. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, peace.